Hello everybody, Monovore here. And the other day, actually yesterday, I went to locals and I decided that instead of playing an incomplete Trickstar deck with just one reincarnation, I was gonna play Altergeists and then also just sell the whole Trickstar deck. So I made some money off of that, but I also made some money by taking second at locals. Why did I take second? Because the new time rules are trash. Anyway, for the monster lineup, we ran 3 Marionetter, 3 Multifaker, 3 Meluseek, 2 Silquitus, and a Coonquery. Now, we'll take this slow for those of you who don't know what the Altergeist cards do and are maybe looking to pick up the deck now. Marionetter, on summon, lets you add a trap from deck to hand, or from deck to your field, and has an Altergeist trap. And then you can send an Altergeist card on your field to the graveyard, or you can target an Altergeist card in your field and target an Altergeist card in a monster in your graveyard. And if that goes through, you send the card on field to grave and you special summon the monster. Note that it doesn't send for cost. Altergeist Multifaker is actually just the best Altergeist monster. When you activate a trap you can special summon this card from your hand, and if this card's special summoned, you can take an Altergeist from your deck and summon it. So you always want to run this thing at 3. It is, I believe, the most expensive card in the deck. I haven't checked prices on Meluseek because I got this thing for like 3 cents when it came out. Altergeist Meluseek can attack directly, and if it inflicts damage via direct attack, it can target a card on the field and send it to graveyard. It doesn't destroy. And if this card's sent to graveyard, you add an Altergeist monster from your deck to your hand. So your opponent kills this during your turn, you add Multifaker, you interrupt their play, you summon Multifaker, and then you summon our next card, Altergeist Silquitus. Silquitus says that you can return an Altergeist card you control to the hand, then target one card your opponent controls, and return it to the hand. And if it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to add an Altergeist trap from the graveyard. Coonquery says that if you control an Altergeist card and you are attacked, you can summon it, negate the attack. And if it's special summoned, you can target a card in the field, negate its effects until Coonquery leaves the field. We played 5 more monsters. They were just hand traps that I had on me at the time. It was 3 cherries and 2 Baylor. I couldn't find a 3rd Baylor, so I was just like, why not? But if I would change any of the monster lineup, it would just be finding some way to bump Baylor up to 3. I'm going to take something out of the trap lineup probably. Our spells are really simple. It's just 3 Pot of Duality, because you want to see this in your opening hand because you're not going to do any special summons on your first turn anyway. Also, it's important to note, I won almost every game where I went first. The only game where I went first and didn't win was the 3rd game of the last round, in which I lost to time. We got 3 Altergeist Manifestation. This one is like Premature Burial, but for Altergeists. And it actually has a wording change from what is printed on the card right now. The card now says special summon the targeted monster in attack position and equip it. It really says, and if you do, equip it. And it will be changed in the new Battles of Legend. But what this enables you to do is, if you have a Silquitus on your field, and you activate Manifestation, let's say you're just targeting a Multifaker you sent to grave. You can use Silquitus' effect to return Manifestation to the hand after you activate it, and Multifaker still comes out, and it doesn't die when Manifestation leaves the field. Next up is 3 Altergeist Protocol. This thing is a continuous trap that negates effects by sending another Altergeist card you control to the graveyard. And it also says that your Altergeist cards and effects cannot be negated. This means that you cannot skill drain against Altergeists. Personal Spoofing is our next trap card, and it says you can shuffle another Altergeist card you control into the deck. Interestingly enough, it says other Altergeist card despite not being an Altergeist card itself. Kind of weird. And then you can take one Altergeist monster from your deck and add it to your hand. This allows you to send Multifaker back into the deck, grab Multifaker, because it doesn't say you have to grab a different Altergeist card, it just says you have to grab an Altergeist monster. You can send the Multifaker from the field back into the deck at the end of your opponent's turn and grab like Meluseek and attack directly. There's a lot of things you can do with this card. It is a play enabler, to say the least. That's why we played it at 3, is because it's unsearchable and it's the best card. Next up, we've got 3 Mind Crush. We are main decking Mind Crush, and it has come in so much handy. I actually wouldn't have won any of the games I don't feel like I would have won any of the games I won without Mind Crush. I mean, obviously, except for the ones where I didn't see Mind Crush. But every time I saw Mind Crush, I won. Because my opponent would search a key card, I would go, Mind Crush, get rid of it. And a combo you can do is that even though you can't activate Mind Crush if you have no cards in hand, if you have no cards in hand on the resolution of Mind Crush, it's perfectly fine. You flip Mind Crush, you call a card. Even if you call the card wrong, you summon Multifaker. You now have 0 cards in hand, but you have a Multifaker, and you're about to have a Silquitus, with which you can return the Multifaker to the hand and repeat the process all over again. Now we play 3 Compulse because Konami decided it was a good idea to put this back at 3, so we just went, oh, why not? Honestly, the best card hierarchy, the best trap hierarchy goes spoofing. It goes spoofing, Mind Crush, Protocol, and Compulse can, depending on your matchup, usurp any of these at any point. Sometimes it is number 1, sometimes it is number 4. Most of the times it is number 1. Next up, we've got 3 Torrential Tribute, because actually half our monster lineup floats. And then we've got 3 copies of Premature. And the last 2 cards in the deck are one-ofs, but that's just because I would rather be running 2 of one of them, but I couldn't find a second copy, is Lost Wind and Stormduster. I wanted to play 2 Stormduster instead of any Lost Wind, but I just couldn't find them in time, and I wasn't going to screw with that. So I just put in the next best card I could find, which was Lost Wind, and I like it because Altergeists tend to have problems with large attack monsters. So you flip Lost Wind and you have it. And also, Lost Wind is effectively a trap card you can flip at any time to summon Multifaker whenever you need it, because you can even target your own monster if you're desperate. Now, in the extra deck, we played 2 Altergeist Hextia. It's a Link 2 that just requires 2 Altergeist monsters. Gains attack for every Altergeist it points to, and then it says you can send those Altergeists to grave to negate spell and trap cards and effects. We played 2 Prime Banshee. Came up 1 time. We are definitely dropping this card to 1 today. We're definitely dropping this card to 1 because it's not worth running at 2. I never made 2, and I hardly even made the 1 I did make. 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Cerberus. I would be running a Nightmare Mermaid because there are 2 or 3 Gouki players at my locals that I have to watch out for, and I don't want to get locked down by what's-her-face, Ibly. But I didn't have the Mermaid before we started the tournament, so I couldn't play it. Honestly, that's what I would drop this for. A Decode Talker. Just, why not? We got Sky Cavalry Centuria. This card is one that a lot of people forget about, but I had it lying around, and it takes people off guard sometimes. If it has materials, it can't be destroyed, and then if it attacks into something, you compulse it by detaching 1. 1 Tornado, 1 Bagooska, 1 Breaksword, 1 Vujintai Tsukiyomi because Marionetter is a light monster, a Dweller, a Trapeze Magician for the Trickstar matchup because all of the Altergeist monsters are spellcasters, and again, Marionetter is a level 4. There's enough search power in the deck where if you really desperately need to make a rank 4, it will happen. But I don't find myself actually touching much of the rank 4s. I don't find myself touching much of the extra deck in general. And the last card is a Cherries target because I know there's people at my locals who had Trickstar Sky Striker built. So I was playing Kagari right off the bat because I did not feel like losing any game 1s to Sky Striker. Now, for the side deck, which was the real MVP, Cowboy, it never came up, not even once. We played Buster in the side, and it came up, but again, this was the round I lost to Time. I feel bad because I don't remember the guy's name, but shout out to him, he was a really good player. We ran 3 Mind Control. This came up one time, and it was against Cubics of all things. I don't even know what happened. They had the big guy out, and I just needed to get around it so that I could go for game. 3 Called by the Grave, 2 Zaphion, 3 D-Barrier. This was the card that came up the least. I sided this in against the Cubic player because he was playing a lot of funky back row for some reason, and I wasn't willing to risk that, but I didn't draw it. This, I neither sided in nor drew. And this was the 1 copy of Wiretap I could find for the mirror match, and it never came up. So, some changes I would make to the deck is, first of all, cut a Prime Banshee, play a Mermaid, obviously. Maybe cut a Lost Wind for a Storm Duster. And other than that, or actually what I could do is I could just cut Lost Wind for 3rd Veiler. Because every time I saw Veiler, it was good. There was not a bad time to see Veiler during any of those matches. But other than that, I think I'm pretty proud of this list. I'll be making changes, of course, like, obviously, if we were rich kids, these would be Impermanence. Like, I will not say Impermanence is a worse card than Veiler. I will just say that if you don't want to buy Impermanence, don't buy Impermanence. It's not that good, but it is good. The one thing about it is that it's an easy way to trigger Multifaker, which makes it especially good in this deck. So if any of you have suggestions, or maybe if I inspired you to build Altergeists, just leave me a comment. I would love to talk to you about the deck. This has been one of my favorite decks to play this format. It's actually like the only thing I've played this format besides Trickstar. Anyway, see you guys next time.